car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Yes, indeed. This is the Frontier Motors Show here on News Talk 1370 WCOA, our part of Talk at 10. The owner of that fine establishment, Frontier Motors, is here with us. He is ready, willing, and certainly more than able to take any phone inquiries from you. Let's say you wanted to get the price of a car or a truck or an SUV. You would call us. Well, I hope you would. 478-3116, 478-3116. I will direct you to Iven Streckel, who will then supply you with that much-needed information, and we welcome him to these microphones. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Don. Thanks so much for the introduction. And here we go one more time. This is the WCOA Radio Show. We're also videotaping this for our Blab TV customers, so if you're watching this on TV, it's probably not a live show right now. This is a show about the car business, what's going on in the industry, also what's going on a little bit at Frontier Motors. We don't specifically talk about individual cars that we have at Frontier Motors. We talk more a little bit about Frontier Motors and what we do for the people in the Pensacola area when they are in the market for a car, and it might not be right now. So if you're watching this, you're thinking, well, why would I need to talk to Frontier Motors when I am in the market? Well, a lot of reasons. And the biggest reason, I think, is to get a price on a vehicle, whether you buy it from us or not. If you have a friend or relative or neighbor, maybe you see something on Craigslist or maybe down at the Navy base on a lemon lot or maybe Cars.com or Auto Trader, all the different places that you can go to look at cars when you're ready to find out, is the price that they're asking a good price or a bad price? There's a couple of ways that you can get this information without talking to Frontier Motors. One of them is you go on the internet and you can Google used car values. You're going to find that they're going to have a Kelley Blue Book, they're going to have an Edmunds, and they're going to have a consumer's version of the NADA. We really don't use any of those formats in the real world in the car business in the Pensacola area. One reason is because we use the NADA guide. This is an official guide that you can't get on the internet. This is the guide that the bankers have and the credit unions and the insurance companies. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what the car is worth. The books that we're using right now at the NADA will show you what a banker would loan on that particular car if you have good credit, or sometimes even a little bit more than the NADA value. That's one book that we use, which is very important. The other book that we use is the Black Wholesale Guidebook. I kind of call these the secret books. These are the books that most dealerships don't want you to see because it shows you what a dealer might be appraising a vehicle for if they were buying it at the auction or off of a private individual or off of another dealer. Very important to get an idea what a dealer's paying for the car, because if you know what the dealer's paying, give them a fair profit, you know what you should be paying. And that's why sometimes there's a big discrepancy between one book and the other. So how do you know which book is right? You go by experience by calling Frontier Motors at 436-8080, and we will pull out the real values. The way that I get the real values is off the internet through the Manheim Market Report. The Manheim Market Report is a Manheim auction chain owned by Cox Communications. We happen to have a Manheim auction right here on W Street. Manheim is the largest auction chain in the world. We're lucky enough to have the second largest auction right here in Orlando, within driving distance. Matter of fact, I have a buyer that drives to Orlando. He leaves on Monday. The auction in Orlando is on Tuesday. They have anywhere between 4,000 and 6,000 cars every Tuesday. That's just one location. Just in the south here, there's about 14 or 15 different locations with the ability to have approximately 20 to 25,000 cars in 1 week to choose from. That's a lot of cars. Very important if you don't want to go car shopping. You come to Frontier Motors, you give us a description of what you're looking for. We do the research and tell you how much it's going to cost, and then we go and buy it for you. And just last week alone, this will give you an idea. Now, we're not going to see this on the radio, but on TV, I'm holding up an incoming sheet. This is just 3 days of incoming. That's 30-some vehicles that we purchased that are coming to Frontier Motors just in 3 days. A lot of these we purchased for customers like yourself that came in and said, I don't really have time to go car shopping. I want a fair deal. Give me the vehicle that I'm looking for. Call me when you get it, and I'll come in and pick it up as long as it passes my inspection. So what we do is we buy these vehicles for customers without a signature, without a deposit, just a handshake, that as long as we provide the vehicle for you that you've ordered, that we have a deal as long as it passes your inspection. Now, I'll give you an example of what we bought just in 3 days. A 2015 Honda CR-V, a 2015 Tundra XP, a 12 model K2500 heavy-duty four-wheel drive pickup truck, a 12 Hyundai Tucson Limited, a 14 Camry SE, a 16 Ford Explorer. These are vehicles we bought in 3 days at Frontier Motors. A 15 RAV4, a 16 a Nissan Altima SL, a 14 Honda Civic, a 15 Subaru Forester. That was a locate for a customer that came in. And here's the prime example I want to talk about. Subaru Forester, customer came in. I would like a Forester Touring. I would like to have leather, sunroof, navigation, less than 10,000 miles. They like the Jasmine Green. I got them a Jasmine Green one. It took me 2 weeks to find the car. 13 Ram Laramie, 16 Honda Civic with 9,000 miles. Who says we can't get cars that are like brand new at a used car lot? People always wonder, well, why would I buy used? And I'll tell you one of the reasons that you'd buy used instead of new, other than the fact that Dave Ramsey tells you to. If you're a Dave Ramsey guru, which a lot of people out there are, Dave Ramsey says make sure that if you're in the market for a car, you buy one that's used because of the depreciation. Well, Consumers Reports last year finally put in writing what Frontier Motors has been talking about over the last 19 years. And what they did is they actually came out with a graph and an average depreciation in the first year. Now, we've been talking at Frontier Motors about depreciation. Buy a used car, have somebody else take the loss. We've been doing this for years and years and years. Well, they finally came out and they put it in writing. They said that last year, in 2015, the average selling price of a car was $34,000, a brand new one. Actually, that was a transaction price. The selling price might have been higher than that. But the average transaction price was $34,000. If you would have bought that car last year and you traded it this year, Consumers Report says that the average depreciation the first year is 27%. If you multiply that out, that comes to $9,180. Let's just round it off to $9,200 depreciation. That's what you'd have lost if you would have bought a brand new car last year and you decided to trade it for whatever reason. And this morning I saw an ad on Craigslist. I scour Craigslist once in a while, and a person had a 2015 Chevy Tahoe LTZ. They had it for sale for $55,000 or take over payments. Now get this. Take over payments on my vehicle, $982 a month. They had 68 months left to go. Can you imagine? And they're selling this used that had 8,000 miles on it. Or you could buy it for their payoff, which was $55,000. And I'm trying to figure out, why would anybody pay that much money? Well, when you think about that LTZ Tahoe, was about a $70,000 vehicle. $55,000 isn't that bad. I did the research, though, and I can buy that same vehicle at the auction for about $48,000. So I told them that I would give them about $50,000 for it because I figured that it was worth about $52,000. So they were a little bit high. But can you imagine, number one, anybody that advertises takeover payments, you can't do that. The payments and the loan are in your name. You can't just give someone else the vehicle and have them take over your payments. Your bank would never allow it. There's a little stipulation in your contract that says this contract is not assignable. In other words, when you finance the vehicle, that's based on your credit, your background, not somebody else's. You can't just hand somebody the payment book and say, here, make these payments. Number two, the insurance would still have to stay in your name. I'm not saying you can't do that, but it's illegal. So if you call the insurance company and says, hey, I sold this vehicle down to a stranger down the road from Craigslist, the insurance company's not going to be okay with that. They're going to expect you to cancel insurance. Well, you can't get insurance on a vehicle that you don't own. So forget about that takeover payment garbage. That's not going to work. Now, you can buy it, pay it off, and refinance it in your name if you are credit worthy. A lot of people might take notice when they see the advertising say takeover payments, especially people that have bad credit, because they just assume they don't have to qualify for credit if they're getting it from a private individual. Doesn't work that easy. But and the other thing we can help you with also, folks, and I haven't picked up this book, this is the New Car Cost Guides. And the reason this book is very important, if I can't talk you into buying a car that's 6 months old or a year old and saving $1,000, and you're saying, I'm going to buy a brand new one, what you can do at Frontier Motors is stop in. I can look up the new car invoice guide of any vehicle out there. And if you know the invoice, it'll give you an idea of what to pay. Because if you know what the dealer paid, give them a little bit of profit. Now, Consumer Reports sells these invoices, and on the back of every Consumer Report, they have a little ad. It looks like this, and they sell these invoices. I believe they're $14. They're $14 for one report, and you can order additional reports for $12. In other words, if you're looking at 10 different cars, it's going to cost you about $130 to find out what the invoice is on 10 different cars. Well, at Frontier Motors, you can find out what the invoice is on any car at no charge. And the other reason you'd stop at Frontier Motors if you're thinking about buying a brand new car is to get your car appraised. Wouldn't it be nice to have a second opinion on what your car should be worth if you're going to trade it on a brand new car? So I'm going to kind of sit down with you and spend some time, myself or one of our 5 managers that we have, will sit down and spend some time with you and kind of tell you, this is what the new car costs, this is what you should pay for it, and here's what they should appraise your trade-in for. So if I appraise your trade-in for $20,000 and they appraise it for $17,000, it'll give you a little bit of ammunition to go back to the used car manager and say, hey, I was just down with Frontier Motors, and they said that not to take any less than $20,000. A lot of times when we tell you that figure, we'll actually buy your vehicle for that price as long as we don't have multiples in stock. So when I give you a figure, it's not just something that we make up to kink your deal so you don't go buy that brand new car. We want someone to buy a new car. I wish it wasn't you. But last year, 17.5 million people bought brand new cars. And the reason that's important for us, we're a used car dealer. If somebody doesn't buy a brand new car, I'm out of business in a heartbeat. So we need to make sure that somebody out there buys the brand new car. I'm just hoping it's not our Pensacola neighbor. I'm hoping it's someone in Atlanta or Orlando, someone that we don't care as much about. Let them take that huge loss. Let us take advantage of that, and I'll sell it. I'll still make money on it, and you still save $6,000 to $7,000 by buying a car as low as the Grand Caravan that we have in stock that has 151 miles on it, or the Nissan Altima that has 992 miles on it, or the Santa Fe that has 1,024 miles on it, or how about a Challenger RT 100th anniversary that has 1,638 miles on it. These are just one of the hundreds of cars that we have that have under 20,000 miles on it. This morning I checked the computer before we started this show, and we have 398 cars in inventory at Frontier Motors. I know I've got at least 1 or 2 truckloads coming in. Now, we talked a little bit about Frontier Motors. We talked about a little bit about what's going on in the industry. Not enough, I don't think. I got a new Consumers Reports the other day, and it said that which brands make the best car, and this is something new that I haven't seen before. This is actually kind of interesting because there are different ways that they rate cars. One of them is on customer satisfaction. Some of them are on the road test. Some of them are on reliability. This particular one says which brands make the best cars. It says one great car or clunker doesn't define a whole brand, neither does its reputation, good or bad. Relieve you of the need to examine a vehicle very carefully. But they did a survey, and they actually found that the best brand overall out there is an Audi. Number 2 is a Subaru. Now, we don't have an Audi dealer in Pensacola. Actually, we're going to. I just saw they're building up a building on 29. They're going to have a new Audi dealership, which I'm so excited about because I'm so glad that they're coming to town. It makes it so much easier for Frontier Motors to sell an Audi when there's a local Audi dealership for warranty work. Kind of a pain in the butt, and I've had people not buy Audis for the simple reason that they have to drive all the way to Mobile to get the car serviced. Well, now that they have a dealer here, it makes it so much easier. And of course, we've got Anderson Subaru. So as far as buying Subarus, if you're going to buy a brand new one, you would go to Anderson. If you're going to buy one like our customer that ordered the Subaru Forester Touring with 6,000 miles, they came to us because we have a very, very aggressive locate service. A lot of dealerships will tell you they'll find you a car, but what really happens, they take your name and number down, and they call you when they happen to get one. And that's just the luck of the draw. We get a lot of more aggressive than that, where we actually go out, even though we have 400 cars in inventory, we actually go out and buy an extra vehicle for you because maybe the one that we have is the wrong color. And this is exactly what happened with the Subaru, because I had, I believe it was a silver Subaru, which they actually liked silver, but they didn't like the black leather interior. So they said, Ivan, I love the vehicle that you have. It's got low miles. It's in my price range, but I really can't do black leather. So they said, if we're going to get a different color leather, let's get a different color outside also. I like that jasmine green color, but I want a light colored interior. So it took me about 2 weeks to find the car for our customers. Instead of buying a brand new one over at Anderson, they ended up buying a used one. You can look at your leisure. Our salespeople are nice enough to unlock every single one of those 400 cars every morning so you can test them out. How do you know if you like a car? The first thing is the looks of the car. So you see the car and you say, I like the looks of that one. But then you sit in it and you don't like the way it feels when you sit behind behind the steering wheel, and you see that the dash is too high or the seat doesn't adjust properly. Well, through most dealerships, you got to run back and forth and get the keys. Now, the reason they do that is they want to make you feel obligated because that salesman's working so darn hard for you. We don't want to make you feel obligated. We want you to buy a car from Frontier Motors when you're ready, not when we're ready. Of course, we're there to sell you a car. We'd love for you to buy one today. But we also know that's probably the second largest purchase you're ever going to make in your life. And based on that, you should take your time. You should go to a dealership that's got a good reputation. Go to a dealership where you feel comfortable talking to the salespeople and not getting pushed or cornered and coerced to making a decision when you're not ready. And we have a lot of customers that will call us and they'll come back. 71% of the customers that we get are repeat or referrals. And our customers really love us. And I try to talk to as many customers as possible to find out how they heard about it and what brought them back to Frontier Motors. We get so many customers say, well, we came back because you guys do business the right way. You give us a fair price. I don't have to fight for the price. You give us a fair trade-in. I don't have to fight for the trade value. You give us an out-the-door figure that includes taxes, dock fee, tag transfer, title fee, everything in writing so that if we want to leave, we can go to another dealership to compare. Now, we're pretty smart at Frontier Motors. I'm not going to give you a high price if you want to compare because you'll never see again. So we sharpen our pencil right off the bat to make sure that when we give you a price, we give you a good price. We want you to come back. If it's not the best price out there in the marketplace, which we know because we have a program that tells us if it's the best or not, we're going to let you know why. So if there's one car out there that's $1,000 less than the price that I gave you, it's normally because it has more miles on it, it has less equipment, it's uglier, or it stinks. I kind of say that jokingly, but everybody knows what I mean. When you open a door of a car, it smells like a cigarette butt, or it smells like a dead dog. That's not a good feeling. You're going to lose a deal just based on smell alone. You're going to lose a deal based on color. You're going to lose a deal based on the background of the vehicle, or you're going to make that deal. So we're very careful when we buy the car that passes the smell test. It passes the Carfax test. It passes all the issues that people worry about. Has it been in a major accident? How is the service history? Is it under warranty? These are all things people care about. And a lot of people will write us letters thanking us for the business. Matter of fact, I brought 2 of the letters with me, which I was going to have Don Parker share 2 of them right now while we're on the air.
Why not? I've got them right here in my hand. This one is addressed to Robin. I assume that's one of your sales folks.
Yes, she is. She's been with us for quite some time.
It says, to Robin and all of the Frontier Motors family, we cannot tell you how blessed our family feels due to everything you have done to ensure our needs were met. We will always do business with you from now on. It is almost impossible to find a business that will go above and beyond. We know you did far more than you had to. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And this is signed by Gary, Kimberly, Nikki, and Jackson.
That's very nice. Very
nice.
It
was. And here's another one. Dear Ivan and Ms. Jenny Streckel, how nice. Recently, on the 15th of June, I purchased a 2013 Ford Escape from your fine dealership. Mr. Robert Jarman was my salesperson, and he exceeded all of my expectations. After considerable research on your dealership, this and other Escapes, I had extensive dialogue, both telephonically and electronically, concerning the NADA value, specific options with RJ. I agreed to drive over to your dealership all the way from Pascagoula to look at and to test drive the car. RJ met me. We took the Escape for a drive. My Ford Explorer trade-in was evaluated efficiently and quickly. He and his wife assisted me with the USAA insurance details, the registration, the title, the plate transfers were all done professionally and efficiently. Within less than 20 minutes, an agreed-upon deal was consummated, and I was on my way back to Pascagoula, Mississippi, only minutes later in my newly acquired 2013 Ford Escape. There's something about a gift in here, too. Apparently, it must be a special gift that folks get, huh?
We do have a little gift for everybody that leaves the dealership, but that's not something we're going to talk about right now because it's supposed to be a surprise.
All right, I'll skip over that.
All right.
Please pass on my sincere appreciation to RJ and the other members of your staff for making my business with your dealership a pleasant, professional, productive, and hassle-free experience. And this is signed by Austin, a Colonel, United States Air Force, retired.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And if I brought all of the letters that we get on a weekly basis, we probably get between 10 and 15 a week. I would not be able to do the show because either that or I need a longer show. So it gets a little bit boring. But you get the gist of what we're talking about. This is a little bit different dealership than normal when you come to Frontier Motors. And folks, we really are here to help the people in the Pensacola get advice when they're in the market. And it's not just a gimmick to get you into the dealership. That's one of our goals, obviously, is to get you into the dealership by getting that advice, but we don't make you feel obligated to buy a car because of that. We feel that might come naturally. So if you're in the dealership to get advice as far as what your car is worth, we're going to give you that. If you want to sell the car yourself and put it on Craigslist or eBay or Auto Trader, we're going to tell you what to ask and we're going to show you how we came up with that figure. If you get into an accident and you have diminished value, what that means is your vehicle is now worth less because you've been in an accident, because somebody else hit you. We're one of the few dealerships that put a diminished value letter in writing so you can go back to the insurance company and perhaps get some monetary reward, because if I'm going to be appraising your car if it's been in an accident, I'm going to appraise it less. And that shouldn't be your fault if somebody runs into you. What if your car gets totaled? Don't just take the insurance company's word for it. Before you settle, call Frontier Motors, give us a description of the car, the ID number and the miles. We're going to book it out for you and give you an appraisal in writing. And hopefully if the insurance quote is a little bit less than what we're giving you, you can use that information to go back to the insurance company. And if they won't reason with you, tell them to call Frontier Motors. We'll be more than happy to talk to them. And the reason we do this is because maybe if we help you, you might take a look at one of the cars that we have on a lot as a replacement vehicle. So our ulterior motive, of course, is to sell you a car, but that's not only our motive. That's not our only motive. Our whole motive is to get you talking about Frontier Motors, that even if you buy a brand new car with our advice and you go to Anderson Subaru or you go to Bob Tyler or you go to Stanley Stansing or Pete Moore, one of these major dealerships that have been in the Pensacola area for a long time, we're going to tell you what to pay. We're going to tell you what your car is worth. We're going to give you all the information to make sure you don't pay too much. But we're not going to kink their deal. We realize that the car you're buying today somewhere else is not going to be the only car you're ever going to buy. So even if we lose your business this time around, we'll get a chance at it next time. And who do you normally recommend? You normally recommend the dealer that helped you get the deal, not the actual dealer that you bought from. Makes a big difference. Used car cost guide. I just got this a couple of months ago, and this is kind of neat because one of the things that's really important where I help do the research for you is least and most satisfying car out there. Consumer Reports did hundreds of thousands of surveys for customers that talked about the different cars that they purchased and would they buy them again. Did you like them or not? This has nothing to do with reliability. It has nothing to do with them rating the car. Sometimes Consumer Reports will not approve or recommend a car just because it doesn't have stability control or just because it doesn't have a good crash test rating. Well, some customers don't care about these things. Some customers love their car. And I'll give you an example of a car that Consumer Reports doesn't recommend. It's a Chevy Corvette. But 87%, the most of sports car buyers say they would buy another Corvette. They love their Corvettes. The only one that's even tied with that is a Mazda Miata. I said 87%, I meant 84%, would buy a Mazda Miata. Mustang is at 75% and Camaro is at 75%, which is still really good, just not as good. Large cars, a Chrysler 300 is not recommended by Consumer Reports. But Chrysler 300 has the largest owner satisfaction, 77%. Number 2 was Hyundai Azera, then a Dodge Charger. This is on 2013 models. It's kind of neat because they rate 2006, 2011, 2013, because as the years go by, you might lose your satisfaction based on issues with the car. Top hybrid car is a Tesla. Top compact is a Prius. Top subcompact car is a Honda Fit. Midsize is Subaru Legacy. Very good information that you can use. Frontier Motors, 230 Beverly Parkway, 436-8080. If you're watching this on TV, if it's after 6, we're closed. You can still call the dealership or email the dealership if you need a value on your car. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch this on YouTube if you want, if you're missing it, or if you want to pass it on to another friend or relative or neighbor of yours that says, hey, where should I go buy a car? And say, hey, listen, go YouTube Frontier Motors. Just Google it on YouTube or Google it on YouTube. I don't think you knew that, but you can plug it in on YouTube as a search and we'll be popping up, and this show and other shows will pop up. And I've got a lot of interesting things that we talk about, and we really don't want to bore people just because this is a Frontier Motor Show, because we want to let people know out there what we're all about. With 400 cars in inventory, I could start rattling off a bunch of cars and all the good deals and things like that. That's kind of boring as far as I'm concerned. This show is to let you know that there's a dealer out there that you call when you're in the market. Hey, I want to know what's a good car and what's a bad car. The neat thing about being an independent dealer, which means that we don't have a franchise. I'm not a Chevy dealer. I'm not a Ford dealer. I'm not a Toyota dealership. So I don't have to sell you on a Chevy when you come in. Or if I'm a Toyota dealership, guess what they're going to tell you? Toyota's the best product ever in the history. At Frontier Motors, we have the Chevy, we have the Ford, we have the Toyota and the Honda, Mitsubishi. We have them all lined up. So all you have to do is pick one out. We're going to give you a fair price right off the bat. We're going to make it easy. We're going to give you a bottom line price in writing in case you want to go shop, because you might want to compare price. You might want to compare product. We never know which one it's going to be, but we want to make sure that when you leave Frontier Motors, that you leave with a smile on your face saying, hey, those guys are good guys. And if I'm going to buy, I'm going to go ahead and shop around, but I'm going to go back there because I like those guys. And that's really what it's all about. You have to like the dealer you're dealing with. And on one other note, with only 1 minute left, I want to make sure that you know that we have a warranty on any car that we sell. So if you're buying from a used car or a new car dealership that sells used cars, if they mark that box as is, get out. Go to a dealer like Frontier Motors. If it's an 07 or newer with 100,000 miles, you're going to get a 5-year, 100,000-mile drivetrain warranty. If the car is older than that, you're still going to get 3 months on the engine and the transmission. If it's a beater with a heater, as long as it runs and we're going to sell it, you at least get a month warranty on it. Do not buy a car without a warranty. Thanks for listening. We got to go now, and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.